We're up and running, I think. Come on, producer. There we go. I had to get producer boy to take the thing down. Sup, people? Sup, bitches? Oh, wait. I can't say that in the first 7 seconds. We'll get demonetized.
Oh!
It's okay to swear after 7 seconds on YouTube, but in the first 7, you're not supposed to.
Oh.
Explain that one to me, Lucy. So, happy day after Election Day. Hope everybody got the results they wanted. I did not, but I'm not going to go into it.
Well, I shared with you mine.
I can still.
Oh,
that one was wild.
Share with the audience on that. What you won?
Yes,
in a landslide, technically.
Okay, so I had no technical opposition.
The music is still playing.
Is it?
I don't hear it.
I do. There it goes.
Okay. So here's the funny part. It was 85 voted for me, and I had 37 write-ins. But
against you. For you or against you?
No, someone else wrote in.
Yeah.
Wrote in. And then there were 22 that did not vote on mine. Strangest thing. So then I examined the council members, right? So that we had 2 openings and there were 3 people running. One of the council members got 103. One of them got 101, and the other one got 53. The incumbents won. But what was interesting is they had 30 people not vote on theirs. And I'm curious how that played out because it was really strange. And I think there were 5 write-ins. But I had 37 write-ins. But what that tells me is I'm upsetting some people, but I'm also getting a lot of stuff done.
That tells me you're doing the job. And of course, if you do it the right way, you're going to upset some people. I mean, that's a fact of life with politics.
Mm-hmm.
So just out of curiosity, you threw out those numbers. What was that as a percentage of the total vote? Like how many registered voters could vote for you?
Could? Over 400. So
you ended up combined probably about 125-ish, give or take. I'm doing the math in my head based on numbers you threw out, but I may be off on that.
So I received 85 votes plus 37 write-ins, and then the 22 that did not vote. And that comes to 144 people attended the election.
So 144 out of roughly 400.
Yep, and then I got 85 out of 144.
So I mean, ballpark.
So I got close to 60%.
That's about a third of the total electorate voted, which is way higher than here. Way higher. Here, they haven't got the final numbers yet. But when I talked to somebody yesterday, they were saying it's going to be under 20. Which speaks to how pathetic we are. If you don't go vote, you just forfeited your right to bitch, as far as I'm concerned. It's amazing to me how many people don't vote in the munis, and it's the most important election in your life every time it runs.
So to fix your property taxes,
property tax,
how your school boards are run, how your cities are run, what ordinances do you have? Do you guys like having certain zoning ordinances that tell you, hey, you're limited on how many chickens you can have in your backyard? Or do you like it that you have to offset your fence a foot? Or do you like it that your fence has to fit a certain aesthetic? It's got to be a certain height, minimum and maximum, so many setback, all these things that are affected. But nobody goes and votes, and guess what? You get the same old asshole. And
they're the ones that'll bitch the most. It just, you're hearing my frustration because I get frustrated with it every time. And I've been this way 50 years. It's absurd to me how people just don't care. And then they bitch like crazy later, like our property taxes. We were talking off air beforehand. My mortgage is about $460 ballpark. I'm going up to $1,300 total mortgage. So I'm paying almost double in taxes and insurance than I pay for my mortgage.
So my question becomes, how much is your insurance deductible or your insurance premium?
Well, it depends on which policy, because there's two different policies. So your wind storm, which is hurricane, is, I think mine is 1,000.
Okay.
The home is 500, and those are the lowest. So I mean, there are a lot of
I mean,
regular.
we were talking, I think you were saying that it was going to increase your payment by $900.
Well,
So,
it's gone up 900 total since I bought the house.
right.
Yeah.
So then the way that it almost makes me wonder, like, let's say 700 times 12. Holy crap, that's $8,500 a year. So, okay.
When I bought the house, it was roughly $260.
So
per
here's something to throw at you. In Iowa, on average, an average $300,000 home is $4,000 a month or a year in taxes.
Mhm.
And what's interesting to me is the legislature says that's too much. And here's the interesting part: when you're in a majority red state, we have all of these county supervisors and county mayors and councils and all this stuff. They keep those property taxes at a very reasonable rate in comparison to the rest of the country.
Because they're forward thinking. I mean, the big thing around here is housing cost.
Mm-hmm.
And the rent now, like, people are losing their minds over the rent going up because everybody's rent's going up. Well, you just voted to increase your property taxes more. You think the landlords are going to eat it? This ain't New York City where they're going to put a cap on it. By the way, wait till you see all the buildings start burning in New York City in the next 6 months, because it's coming, just like it did in the 70s. You can't rent cap and then jack the property tax up, but that's what's coming. And it's, I don't want to get too far in the weeds on it. I'm just shocked at how stupid people are.
I'm not.
I am,
but I'm not.
Steve just said my mortgage is $400 a month. How did I swing it? Simple. I only bought a house for $140,000, and I put a huge down payment on it. And the only reason I have a mortgage, because I could pay it off, is the tax benefits. So,
all right, guys, guess what? We're doing questions from the audience.
Lindsay doesn't want to talk politics.
I don't want to talk about all of this stuff because that's what I did all weekend on my mom.
It's depressing anyway. Let's be honest. We need a pick me up.
So,
all right, throw some questions out. Let's hear them.
Questions, good questions, bad questions, absurd questions, things you've always been curious about.
Well, one I'll address is a couple people mentioned me talking to JD DeLay, who I love the guy. I follow him on TikTok and YouTube. I would love to chat with him. I've never reached out to him, never tried to. I mean, we're different niches, so I don't know that there'd be too much we could do together, but I would be more than willing to collab with him. I love his stuff. Absolutely love it. And he's all over. He's, he talks about politics, but he's also talks about crime and all this other stuff. And openly admits he was a drug addict, sold drugs, went to prison, and all that.
How do you all feel about Mamdani?
Well, first let me preface my answer.
Okay, so this is one of those interesting ones where let me burn it to the ground.
Yeah, let me preface my answer by saying I'm from Albany and we hate New York City with a passion. I am all for him winning. I can't wait to see it just fall into the ocean, destroy it.
He's a useful idiot. He is exhibit A through Z of why this is a bad idea.
But it's the only way that people are going to realize it.
He's the only way that people will realize it.
So I have
a useful idiot.
2 friends that live in New York City, right? One is high middle class income, right? He texted me today, I'm already looking for property. He wanted to know about here. I'm like, no, we're closed. I'll send him to Iowa. He's out. And by the way, He is a lifelong Democrat. Has never pulled for an R in his life. His words, not mine. He's out. I'm moving. The other one that I talked to is an older woman. She's about to retire. She probably would have moved anyway, I think. But she posted on Facebook, "I'm gone." Lifelong Democrat. It's going to be real interesting to see what happens there. I think you're going to see a mass exodus, and there's already been one. Get ready, Texas. They're coming for you. But I saw that your governor said he was going to put some sort of tax on them if they did.
Yeah. Don't California or Texas or anything else or Texas.
Here's my thought. They voted for him. That's their choice.
Well, I mean, the root word of Democrat is democracy. If they want to have a true democracy, go right the hell ahead. I prefer a constitutional republic myself.
He's a Marxist. He openly admits he's a Marxist. And now, to be fair, look who they ran against him. Cuomo. I know things about Cuomo, and people know the public stuff. I know some of the private stuff. He is a nasty dude. Nasty dude.
Well, I mean,
and Flewa is a joke. I mean, they should never be running him. I actually met him, 35, 40 years ago for like 5 minutes. Arrogant prick. He had his little red beret on like his shit didn't stink.
So someone said, George Carlin said it best, never underestimate the power of stupid people in large groups. You mean our government?
It's still shut down?
It's still shut down?
Oh, have you seen that latest reel from Arlie Ermy with AI? And Sergeant Hartman. And
I have it saved. I have not watched it.
You gotta watch it.
I did save it.
Hilarious.
It popped up this morning. I didn't have time to watch it, so I just saved it. I think it was on TikTok. I had it.
I was like, that is totally what he would say.
We have a question from Countryborn. Go-to comfort meal.
You first.
I have two. I have chicken pot pie from Costco, and
I knew that was going to be one of them. How do I know that, Lindsay?
I don't know. How do you know that? And then.
And I laugh every time I walk by one in Costco, just so you know.
And then it's Stouffer Box stuffing made with chicken broth instead of water with sausage mixed in, which is the only thing I could eat while I was pregnant with my second son.
Why don't you eat real food?
Because it's the only thing I could keep down. We were
What's
poor.
Yours,
so I like to throw the chuck roast in with potatoes and carrots in the Instant Pot with beef broth, garlic, salt, and all that other stuff, and just gorge on that.
Mine's not far from you. Mine would be a brisket or a chuck roast I've done on the smoker. So, I mean, but sometimes it's pizza too. I have to be honest. I never, mine changes. I can't say I have one go-to.
So another question is from Angel, says, have you ever known a good woman gone bad and become bitter, hateful, and spiteful?
They started out good? No.
Yeah, like they started out good.
No. I do know a few, yes.
I have known, unfortunately, a couple people that I went to school with that started out with all of their facilities, and then they went to this special place that over the course of 4 years
makes it called a university.
Which they go to a special place that over the course of 4 years completely rewires your brain, so you come out the kind of stupid you need a degree for.
You need to go to a university after the age of 25.
Yeah.
Well, then your brain's developed. I did a whole video on that.
Oh, wow.
No, that's what the women are claiming.
I know.
No, okay, so
they want to raise the age of consent to 25 because their brains aren't developed. And I did.
Do you want to know the problem with that? Okay, so I've always heard that quoted, so I went and read the study. Do you know why it says that? Because the study ran out of money and they couldn't go further than 25, so they just capped it at 25. Your brain continues to develop over the course of your life.
It continues to develop till you die.
Well, okay, so here's something that interesting I would tell you is I think that if you were to run, oh no,
Did you see Houston's?
yes,
Lindsay, you
Lindsay,
gotta
Lindsay,
Lindsay.
Lindsay.
And the audience.
There
is
you
like,
go,
"What the hell
Houston."
is that?" So Lindsay has majored. No, you're right. I shouldn't be drinking anything when Lindsay's talking. She's now choking. Curtis, you were sharing a thought and we totally lost it.
Gone, fucking gone.
But I mean, you look at those studies, like the 25 one. There's one that says men don't mature till they're 43. It's all bullshit. It's all, you look at them and they ask only certain people. So they want the answers to come to the conclusion that they want.
I think the older a person gets, the more decisive and confident in their answers they do get, generally.
Right. So my problem with this, and this is what I argue whenever they argue that we should raise the age of consent to 25, is they're never talking about men raising the age of consent. It's always
women.
young women.
Yep.
And my argument always is, okay, if you are old enough at 18 as a woman to sign up to potentially fight and die for your country, you are old enough to decide who the fuck you want to date.
Well, I mean,
17.
Think about what they're saying, though.
They're calling us stupid.
Is too stupid. Yes, you stole my thunder. Until she's 25 to be able to give consent, but 8-year-old boys can, because it's okay when the teachers molest them. Make it make sense.
What's that Kansas case again?
Which one?
Hermerson versus Sayer.
Yeah,
that one.
I mean, it is. I'm surprised women haven't picked up on how insulting that is. I really am. I mean, when I was looking into that to do my video, I was like, how are the women not outraged?
It is condescending. It is the soft bigotry of low expectations. It is misogyny light. Misogyny dressed up. You are literally saying women are too fucking stupid to decide who they want to date.
Yep.
Dan, you're the quick yeast to her bread rising, because I'm going to tell you, you're that catalyst. All you got to do is say a few words and she goes.
I know how to get her going.
Yeah.
I know how to get her going. I haven't gotten a snort in a while. I got to get one or two this day. But yeah, I mean, I actually was laughing while I was doing the research on it. I'm like, this is so insulting to women. And they're cheering it on. It's the women who are like, yeah. Because they want to get the men, right? Because they want to be able to file false allegations against them. They don't think it through.
It's suffragettes all over again. They didn't think that through either.
It blows my mind. Some of the stuff that, especially, they've ramped it up lately with all this stuff. It's like we're dealing with some serious issues mentally. I'm talking about, and
the lack of mental is not the worry for me. The lack of reason, reasonableness.
Yeah, it's both to me. Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, the generation, Lindsay's generation down, right? Millennials down. We're gradually seeing them lose their ability to reason, to your point. And now I'm going to cap that at, I do think the generation, whatever it's called, that's in middle and high school now, will reverse that trend.
Mm-hmm.
I do.
We're starting to see those trends now.
Yeah.
My 10-year-old and my 8-year-old are asking very engaging questions going, how does that make sense?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so full disclosure, my wife is a Democrat. It's a very, very interesting household sometimes. But what's funny is I've taken the kids to several political events. And oddly, my 10-year-old came home and talked to his mother about the fetal heartbeat bill and talked at great length with her about that. She could not move him from that position. He was in full support of it.
Nice. And he came to it on his own.
And he came to it on his own. I had nothing to do with it. And oddly, he's the one that's more like her.
Which is, you know, what I'm hearing and seeing across the board, right? Is there, and both boys and girls, by the way, you're
Yes.
seeing that trend that way. You know, and again, it goes to the pendulum. We've talked about it a million times. It swung so far left. It has to come back right. There's no further left they can go. So it's got to come back. Where it'll fall, who knows? You know, I was looking at, well, I was talking to somebody about it, and then I was looking at it too. The demographics over the next 40, 50, 60 years, this country's going hard right because the only ones having babies are the conservatives. You know, the left is not having children. So
someone asked, what's the best part of being single? None of us know. Although I would imagine, it would be not having to deal with
I'll answer that one because I'm pretty much there, right? The truth is she moved. And here, I'll tell you what, when the kids are with me, the household is run like I want it to run, and there's no stress. I don't have to answer to anyone. I don't have to negotiate with anyone.
that would be my answer, by the way.
But when the kids are not here, I find myself stirring a lot of pots amongst politicians in the state with my Bodor because I'm bored.
So
I find myself, I have to keep engaged and keep busy because idle hands do the devil's work, right?
yeah, I mean, if I were single now, I would have no problem with it. I would become a total hermit, though. Like my wife is going away because her daughter's having a child in the next few days, so she'll be gone for a week to 10 days. So I become a single bachelor for those things. And to your point, it's total freedom. I can do whatever the F I want, right? And I love that because I am, you know, I have my OCD. The house is clean day one and it's a freaking immaculate. I use one knife, one fork, one spoon, and one plate the whole time. It's run like a military operation, and I'm a lot less stressed. And that's not a knock on my wife. She does not create stress for me, but she's got her way of doing things. I have my way. And never the two shall meet on some things.
So here's a funny story. Neither myself nor Mr. Squirrel set my son up for this. He did this entirely on his own. But I was going to visit my father earlier this year to Albuquerque. And my eldest comes up to my husband and says, Mom will be gone. It'll be a whole week with just us, the superior gender.
Good boy. Good boy.
I laughed.
I'm sure you did. That's a good one. But I mean, let's throw it back out to the audience. For those of you that are actually single, what do you think that's a great question. What is the best part? I think in general, for guys, it's the freedom to make your own decisions. Because unfortunately, when you're a guy in a relationship, you have to park your decisions and what you want. It's just inevitable. Unless you have the balls to stand
parking
up.
your decisions. And if you can't work through that or reason through it, you're not going to be successful as a couple.
No, but that's what most men do. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just simply stating a fact. Yeah.
So Randall Anderson says, stop jumping around. Considering how many single moms are in this country, yeah, women are too stupid to know who to date. It's not that they're too stupid. They just do it. They know they're bad and they do it anyway.
I would argue they don't have anyone to date.
They don't have anyone to date, but they know exactly that this man is not a keeper material, that he's basically just a sperm donor, and they do it anyway. They don't care.
Well, it's a paycheck coming in.
It's not due to ignorance. It's due to irresponsibility.
I would argue with you on that. I don't think it's irresponsibility. I think they know exactly what they're doing.
Well, yeah, that's
they're looking to cash in. That's not irresponsibility. That's just evil. I mean, do we really want to make the argument women don't know that if you have unprotected sex, you can get pregnant? Oh, wait. Yeah, that's the entire abortion argument. I mean, that's like, Like that's another one.
That would be that would be indoctrinated stupidity, though, because I've actually talked to women, and they truly do not understand how their own body's reproductive system works.
How?
And I'm like, how? We have
How?
Google in our pockets. We have the entire human lexicon of history literally in our pockets. How do you not know how sex works?
I mean, but the number of women will say it's all the guy's fault. He's got to stand up.
Every pregnancy is the result of a man's. They need to be responsible for their ejaculation. I was like, okay, well, if that's the case, then you need to be responsible for spreading your legs open in the first place. You are allowed to swallow.
You're gonna get us banned. Stop it.
This is okay. So the funny part is I've got Salt and Pepper in my head playing. Let's talk about sex.
Yeah, we got to be careful with that.
Did I just date myself on this one?
Yeah. The sad part is I know who you're talking about. Steve said, I've seen short videos of conservative women telling feminists to go ahead and be B4. They'll mate with the men that femmes ignore and produce a generation of conservative children.
Yes.
So yeah. I mean, that's what's actually happening. I was looking into the demographics on it. And it's something like 3-2. So it's not a huge difference in when you look at it that way. Like, so for every 5 children born, 3 go to a quote unquote conservative or traditional couple, 2 go to a liberal one, right? It's not that's a huge difference. It's when you scale it up by millions, right? And that's where you're going to see over the next 3-ish generations, it's going to really skew right. And that'll be interesting. The other thing that again, we're getting a lot of politics today, I guess. I was talking with a buddy of mine who is the former head of the Republican Party in our area. And he's like, they really don't realize the mistake they made bringing in all the Latin America, because they are a very traditional family. They're voting Democrat now. Long term, they do not believe they're going to.
No, long term, Texas has proven that they vote Republican.
Yeah, they're gonna vote conservative because they are very family oriented, very religious.
They're hardworking and they love their money.
Yeah, and they are. I mean, they're good people too. I mean, I will say that. But he's been looking at the data that you don't see in the public, right? Because the parties always do these internal polls and stuff like that. And he was telling me, he goes, they don't realize what's coming. They're very short-sighted, they being the Democrats. It's going to be interesting with all that. I probably won't be around for it. But yeah. And Cindy's getting the show banned. Yeah, she is. She can get my channel banned. I'm going to kick her ass.
You'd have to come visit me for that.
We were supposed to be in D.C., darling.
I know.
Goddamn government. And I blame both sides for the record. All right, guys, any other questions, comments, things you want us to talk about? This has been good. I like that question about the comfort food. That was a good one.
So there was a question on here. Why does Iowa's speed limit so much lower than Nebraska's? So
who cares?
So I was like, okay, I'll answer that one.
Why do you even have speed limits? It's all cows and corn. What's that?
Pigs and corn. We don't have a whole lot of cows. Cattle's in one part of the state, and that's about it. So,
okay, you're amateurs with pigs. North Carolina is the biggest pig farm in the world. Go on.
So, I would argue that the most pigs are at Texas water parks during the summer. I mean, have you ever been to Schlitterbahn?
Have you been to the beach?
Okay, so the Department of Public Safety, also known as the Iowa State Patrol, they have got some pretty decent lobbyists that go up and say, oh, no, we can't be doing that. No. If you do that, if you raise the speed limit, here's what happens. You raise it, okay, let's say you raise it from 70 to 80. And the thing is, people always run 5 to 10 miles per hour over the speed limit. Here's the problem I'm going to tell you right now with that argument is you can blow past the state trooper in a 70 mile per hour zone on the interstate, go 85 miles an hour, and they won't even flinch. They're not even going to look at you. So we've had over 1,100 tickets that were 100 miles per hour or more. Yeah. the problem is they're perpetuating the problem, so they really got no standing. So I think we're going to start moving towards how Nebraska does it, where it's going to be 60 and 75, 60 on country roads and 75 on the interstate.
So what is Iowa now?
70 and 55, and then we're 65 on the 4-lane U.S. highways.
And what's your city speed limit generally?
So residential area is 25, business districts is 20, and then
we're 20. We're 25 for resident
yeah.
ourselves. Yeah.
So
I mean, North Carolina is pretty much in line
Yeah.
with you, except we're a NASCAR country, and it's not 85 is the limit. It's actually about 95.
So,
depending on the highway you're on.
well, first of all, the West Texas just raised our speed limit to 80. And I drove back and forth to Houston recently. I was getting passed by minivans, and I was going about 90. And the posted speed limit was 65, and the troopers were passing me along with the 18-wheelers.
Oh yeah, between here where I live in Raleigh is one highway, and it's 70 most of the way, and I was doing probably 85, and I had a state trooper blow by me, and then a couple of mom mobiles, and I'm over in the right lane, feeling like here I am, 15 miles an hour over the speed limit, and I'm getting passed by everybody. I'm like, yeah, I'm in that, and they drive like that.
Well, you only need 8 inches of clearance when you change lanes.
No, they rub bumpers here.
So,
and then I have another.
The minivans that they come out with are 300 horsepower or more.
Well, the best part now is I have a Jeep, so if they come up on me, they're going to go under the Jeep because I have it raised.
I saw a question.
I saw a few.
Angel says, from a woman's perspective, why are women so avoidant and scared of their kryptonite of accountability? Because
that's a great question.
Because taking accountability for our wrong actions would require us to actually acknowledge that we did something wrong and do the hard work of fixing ourselves. And it is so much easier to blame someone else.
So the question I want to add to that, do you think it's inherent in women's, let's say, DNA, or is it taught to them?
It's taught. It's taught.
Interesting. I don't know that I agree with you there. I think it's embedded in your DNA. It's a mix, to be fair, but
nature versus nurture, huh?
I really think it is nature, mostly, not totally. I'm not. Lindsay's point is valid, but I think it's a spectrum either way. But I don't know of a single woman, present company included, that doesn't avoid responsibility sometimes. Not all the time. But
I saw another one.
It's interesting. That's another good question. Houston wants to know if we got our EBT cards. Yeah.
Country says, do you believe kids should have a sandbox growing up? Yes, but make sure there's a freaking lid on it. Otherwise, it's going to get full of cat poo.
Yeah, and they passed pinworms and tapeworms.
Control your cats, people. I built sandbox for my kids. It was huge.
I do control my cat. It's everyone else's cat that they don't control.
Not
Accountability.
22.
You got to deworm that cat every month.
No, you don't. You just need a 22. One shot. Good. Problem solved.
I have 2 outdoor cats. I'm not doing that to.
Then get a pellet gun.
Ow.
Or like I do with the squirrel. The new airsoft guns are awesome for that. The squirrels hate them. And I'm deadly with them. Sorry, Lindsay.
Randall said, if women have the choice to opt out of motherhood, should men get the same right, considering men have no reproductive rights? Yes, I have covered this at length. So all of us have.
Yeah. And what's interesting is, and when I'm talking to politicians, I'm starting to see some awareness of it. I'm not saying they're going to do a damn thing about it, but at least now, most of them that you talk to will acknowledge there's some sort of issue there. But I can assure you they're not going to do a goddamn thing about it because they're making too much money on it.
Houston, no.
What?
Says I was talking about swallowing, and now I said I went to Houston. Am I trying to get him in trouble? No. You'd know if I was trying to get you in trouble, sir.
Wow. Keep it family friendly, people.
But Dan, that's no fun.
No, but we don't want to lose our channels. Although YouTube's gotten a lot more lenient, I've noticed. And by the way, have you guys been on TikTok at all?
Not
I
recently.
don't do
There's been a
that app.
change. Without a question, there's been a change since the switch in ownership. And I've been testing it. I've been pushing it on some things.
Who finally bought it?
Oracle. Well, there's a conglomerate, but Oracle's one of the main things. I don't know if it's finalized or not, but I am definitely noticing they are way more lenient. That's not to say they're good. They're still bad, but way more lenient. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out in the long run. So, but they also, by the way, have shadow banned both my accounts. I did get my monetization back on my 2. Made a whopping 14 cents last month. So I used to get tens of thousands of views on my channels. I'm averaging about 400. So tell me I'm not shadow banned. And the same videos on YouTube do tens of thousands, or Facebook or the other ones. That's hilarious.
Dan, anything further on your interview with the local TV station?
I have reached out to her, but I reached out to her on something else. Nothing further to report on that. But if you guys don't know, there's a kid that's gone viral on TikTok. Davis, Big Dog, I think is his name. He does school lunch reviews. He's a local kid. He went from 0 to 760 something thousand followers in about 2 weeks. So I tipped off the reporter. She might want to go interview him.
Marcus wants to know why don't dating apps work anymore? Are the women staying away from them? So they're not dating apps, they're hookup apps. That's what women are using them for. They're not looking for a long-term partner. They're looking to.
The women are.
The women are.
Do tell. I need to hear more about this.
So feminism has convinced us all that we are allowed to have sex just like men can, with absolutely no repercussions. Because we all, as we discussed earlier, are apparently too stupid to know how sex works. I'm half convinced that's by design, that the school systems and just anyone in general are not teaching women on purpose, keeping us ignorant to how our own bodies work, so that we are stooped enough to fall prey to the belief that, you can have copious amounts of unprotected sex and have absolutely zero consequences. So that's what women are out here doing. They think that that's what they want. They want to be men, but women aren't men. And because we bear the physical responsibility of carrying our progeny, we cannot afford to have sex indiscriminately like men can. By the way, men don't actually hook up.
That's the point I was about to make. Is part of this because women believe men have body counts in the hundreds universally?
That's what they believe. That's what they've been told. Feminism tells them that there's like every man out there is out there sowing his wild oats indiscriminately, and they're like, well, we want to be able to do that. But men, by and large, have never. There's been a small subset of men who have done that since the dawn of time. Chads. But they're a very small group. But feminism they have the best fucking PR team ever, because they've managed to convince 3 whole generations of women that a very small percentage of men are all men, and that, we want to behave like them. But even the women who want to behave like men aren't behaving like men. They're behaving like lunatics.
I mean, it's an interesting question, and it's something I want to research and do. I got to talk to my wife first, but I want to create a fake Tinder account or one of them, because I've never been on any of them. The last dating app I was on was Match, and that was in 2010. So night and day different. But I'm genuinely curious as to what's going on them, because the guys are telling me, and I hear from hundreds of them on any given month, that it's mostly bots, not actual women, and they can tell it's bots. The few actual women that are on there are all fake, in the sense that, what they actually look like and what they're saying they look like, or the picture they're posting, is complete opposites. And the few that, I'm using one guy's word, that you would consider attractive are kind of what you were saying, Lindsay, right? They're looking for Chad to hook up with.
So,
but is that all true, or is that just what I'm hearing and not? I don't know.
It would be interesting to find out. So, Angel's got another question, and then I have an analogy that I talked to Mr. Squirrely about.
Okay.
He says, well, what is your opinion on body count and its BS double standard hypocrisy? So I asked my husband, we talked about this while we were at in Orlando. I said, would I be as attractive to you if I had a higher body count? He said, no. And he said, look, okay, so when you're going to invest, you go and you find fine china. When you marry, you get fine china. You don't invest in paper plates. And every time you use a plate, a woman being a plate, she becomes a paper plate, and you throw away paper plates. You don't keep them. You don't wash them off or put them high in your china cabinet. And I really kind of liked that analogy. And I mean, he's right, because women who...
But does he apply the same to men? I'm curious. I'm not judging in any way. I'm asking.
So this is another interesting thing that I was talking about with a small subset of men who go out and sow their wild oats. Most men do not have ridiculously high body counts.
Right.
So there actually isn't the double standard that people think there is.
I believe, supporting information for that. So in the course of divorces and breakups and child custody cases, you get to find out a lot of stuff about moms and dads. What if I told you that the greatest number of people who carry herpes that I've ever encountered on a case was women?
I knew that already.
And
I've heard that before many times.
And here's the other interesting thing. In 100% of the cases where the men had herpes, they caught it from their wives who were cheating on them. Mm-hmm. And they had multiple partners. And they don't care.
Who's they that doesn't care?
The women.
Yeah.
That they're indiscriminately spreading it.
Well, I mean, this is a good question. And that's why I'm asking you, Lindsay, is, what is his viewpoint on the men? Because I have a skewed perspective on it, because I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. Right. So when it comes, let me just finish and then you can take it. When it comes to body count, my number is astronomical. But that was in the 70s, 80s, and late 80s. I was done. Once AIDS came out, I was done with all that. But I racked up a huge number. So for me to judge a woman based on her body count, I would put it on the same level as me, right? If she's my age, if she's a woman, let's say 62 like I am, why would I judge her what she did in the 80s? Now, if it's recent, yes, right? Because my body count since then is nothing. Oh, it's not nothing, but it's under 10. Actually 12. But I cannot judge someone, male or female, for what they did, say, 40 years ago. I will, though, based on recent, right? So if a woman, like if I was single and dating a 60-year-old woman and she's out banging every Chad in the sun, not a chance in hell I'd go near her, right? But if she did it 40 years ago, I'd probably give her a pass. That's me, and I'm the outlier, and I admit that. But what would your husband say?
So he's of the opinion that if you are knowing how sex works, male or female, and I agree with him, you're kind of looking to, if you're going to do this thing, you have to be careful who you're doing it with, because the chances of creating a child, even with all precautions taken, are high. So body count does matter for both men and women. Like, don't go out and just have sex indiscriminately. However, we do know that women pair bond. The more the chemicals that release when we are intimate, we pair bond with our mates. It's biological. Men do too, but not to the same extent that women do. So,
or I think they do in a different way.
They would do it in a different way, but and it's a biological imperative that's been around for thousands of years. We haven't actually evolved that much, because the idea is we would pair bond with the men who create our children, because we would go to them for protection. Um, and I mean,
And that was what it was
that
ultimately
was what it
about,
was
was protection.
ultimately
Yeah.
about.
Protection and provision.
Protection and provision, to care for the woman when she is gavid and can't move as much or can't hunt or do any of these other things. And but as long as you're not like being a prolific slut, if you can say that word, uh, but there's also an element of society, because in certain cases men were actually, and the 80s and whatnot is proof of that, is they were encouraged to do that. Now women are being encouraged to do that to their
But
detriment.
women were too. I hate to say this because I'm old enough to have lived through this, but that was free love
Well, yeah,
time, like 60s, 70s, and 80s. There were things like key parties. Not that I ever was a participant in any of those, where you would throw your keys into, all the guys would throw their keys into a bowl and the women would pick one and then you would go home
well,
with that woman. Not that I
well,
ever
both of
did that.
them, both men and women, were encouraged to do that. But now we have more
Yeah.
evidence, so this isn't necessarily a good thing. But the women are still being encouraged to behave that way, even though we have evidence that
Oh, by far. Yeah.
it's not a good thing. And like, I was asked actually recently, someone sent to my DM because they asked honest women honest questions: do body counts matter? And I said yes, for women they absolutely do, because as women we carry the biological ability to carry young. We carry the bulk of the responsibility for reproduction. That is something that cannot be divorced. I don't care how many women shout about it. Pregnancy itself is not an actual choice. It is the result of choice. If it was a choice, infertility wouldn't exist. And since we are the ones who carry the responsibility, the biological responsibility, we cannot screw around the way that everyone keeps saying we should be able to do without consequence.
Let me ask you this, and I'm trying to think of a way to put it without us getting banned. Do you buy into the argument that a woman who plays the field, shall we say, somehow becomes lesser or more likely to cheat down the road, or whatever you want to fit into that, right? Because you hear different variations on that, but she's more likely to step out again or keep doing it or whatever, versus men. And I don't agree with that. I think human beings are human beings. I think both men and women would do it or not do it. It's an individual thing. But what do you think
In
on that?
general, women who sleep around that way are doing it out of a sense of insecurity. So I would actually argue that yes, they'd be more likely to cheat. Not
But so are the men, Lindsay.
Well, I can only speak to the
Right. But that's the point I'm
well,
making,
no.
right?
So okay,
Is
so they're more likely to cheat, but not any more likely than men would be to cheat. If you're doing that behavior, it is from a sense of,
it's the same.
you're looking for validation. And the minute you don't get that validation from your partner, male or female, you're more likely to go out and seek it elsewhere. And for anyone who's wondering, actually, because I'm sure that's coming up somewhere, my body count is 1.
Yeah. Or you've talked about that many times. Yeah, but that's the point I was trying to make. You made it for me, actually. Thank you. Is that I think you have to take the gender out of it. I think if you are insecure, right, it doesn't matter if you're male or female, right? I slept around in the early 80s because I was very insecure due to what had happened to me as a child, the abuse from my mother, getting SA'd at 13 and all that. I never knew what love was. So I tried to find it by sleeping with hundreds of women, right? And I have to own that. I'm not saying anything proud about that. It's I look back now and I'm like, first thing I told my wife when I met her, like date 2, there may be a knock on the door from Long Island, because I was after Long Island chicks like crazy back then, right? And you didn't think about, I was 17, 18, 19, 20. I didn't think about protection. Half the time I'd wake up, I didn't even know their freaking name, right? Because I was drunk off my ass all the time too. But it was the root cause of me doing that. Absolutely was my insecurity, 100%. There's no question of that. And I hadn't grown up yet. And I don't make any excuses at all. None. I have no one to blame but myself. And I think that still applies also to women, right? And that's what you're saying. And that's why I get bothered by people trying to make this argument a gender one. And not that I'm giving women a pass on what they're doing now, but I guess what I'm saying is I understand it to a certain point, but then it's on them to grow up like I did. And that's the part that's missing, I think.
Well, I think that you have to take gender out of it. I always just come from it as using my brain, not my ovaries, to think for me. And but it is true that it typically comes from a place of you're seeking validation over and over again, or you're using it as a coping mechanism over and over again. Male and females do this. I wouldn't necessarily say that you are devalued as a human. I don't believe in that, male or female, but I do think that you are hurting yourself and your ability to form relationships. So while you are not devalued as a human being for sleeping around, you are devaluing your marketability in a relationship, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, right? But it's an interesting thing in the way it's presented now, right? It's that women are empowered when they do it.
But
if men do it now, they're chats.
Well, that's just it. I don't think that's true. I think women are being told that they're empowered, but they're not.
Well, that's the point, right? They're not actually empowered, but they're being told that makes them a strong, independent woman to have a body count in the thousands.
What's a strong, independent woman is to keep an aspirin between your knees. That's.
I mean, it speaks to, I think, the problem being where feminism has created this falsehood that every man is out sleeping around with anybody he can get his hands on, which is not true. Are there chads doing it? Hell yeah. I was one 40 years ago, okay? Freely admit it. It was like shooting fish in a barrel. But would I do that now? Not a chance. But feminism would say that what I was 40 years ago is the way every guy was or is. So it's okay. That justifies the women doing it. When the reality is, every reputable study that's been done on it puts the number in the U.S. at around 6 for men in their lifetime.
Interestingly enough, when the free love movement was started, do you know how it got started? How they did it for women? How feminism sold it to women?
Go ahead.
So they in our media, so all the women's magazines and whatnot of the era. Cosmopolitan is one of the big ones. They would take one-off stories that happened in particular places that had a different culture, like say New York City, and they would take those stories and they would seed them throughout the United States to make it look like what was happening in New York City was happening everywhere and that everyone was doing it. They almost basically created a social contagion. Look, see, everyone around us is doing it, so you can do it too. When it was only a subset, a subculture in a certain area of New York City or LA, California, or maybe even Las Vegas, that had this kind of subculture of freedom. Libertine.
San Francisco is the big one.
San Francisco, this kind of libertine movement, which is not uncommon. There's tons of cities around the world that are like this throughout history. Amsterdam, Paris come to mind, but they did a wonderful job of making those small pockets look like they were happening everywhere. And they convinced a generation of women to go out and men to go out and do this, because if the women are out there looking for it, the men are going to rise to the occasion. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
I got it.
And that's what they did. It was a targeted approach by the little babies.
Zoe wants to say hi.
It was a targeted approach by the National Organization of Women when they were first founded, before they changed their name to now.
Well, I mean, to your point, like I remember the magazines back then. Back in my day. Hold on. Oh crap! I got an ice cube. But I'll tell you where I think. Let me throw this out.
Brain freeze.
Where I think this really took off. Remember the show Sex and the City?
Yes.
Oh my!
That's
You're
the
not
one that
lying.
really put it out on steroids, I think, because those chicks were banging anybody that walked, right? And I think that became the quote unquote norm that women that are now 40ish grew up with. And then they taught their daughters that it's the current generation.
And you know what's so funny? Ironic is Sarah Jessica Parker has been loyally married to the same man for how many years?
Yeah.
30 plus.
And I mean, I'm assuming she hasn't stepped out on him, but I remember when that show was going on, when it was in its heyday, looking at it. I mean, I never cared for it, but my then wife loved it. And I would look at it and go, what are they teaching? And it wasn't just women, it was teaching men too, right? It's when you look at that, that's when I think it really, the culture shifted. And now we're at where we're at. And, the problem for women is biologically, they're not programmed to seek many mates, right? They want the one that's going to protect and provide. But now that's being driven out of them. And now you're seeing the result. How many videos have we seen where I can't believe he did this to me? Because they're chasing Chad after Chad, and the Chads don't give a shit. I didn't give a shit at the time. There wasn't a thing called ghosting back then, but I would hook up and never talk to them again. I didn't have a couple times. I didn't more than a couple times. I didn't even know their freaking name. Right? I mean, literally, because I was a bouncer in a bar. If the chick's in the bar at 2 a.m., you're going home with her, okay? And I'm not saying that to be like I'm anything special, but that's the way it was. So I'd wake up the next morning because I was drunk off my ass. Who the fuck is this? Where am I? More than once. And, that's scary when I look back at it now. And this is going to sound awful, but thank God AIDS happened because that's what stopped me. I probably would have continued on.
Yeah.
I mean, how horrific is that for me to have to say it that way? But that's the reality of it.
It's now 4:00. Let's get some love, share, likes.
Oh, it's almost 5.
Wow.
We're on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So Maggie said, hi, Maggie, said women also got sold the lie that if you choose who and how many you sleep with, you're the one in control, when really that's the point of zero control over your own life and self. Yes.
And from the man's perspective, if a man does it, it's the same thing. He's lost control over his body. Present me, except not accepted, but included. Very, very good topic, though. I like that one. There was a question about how many men in the U.S. are single now. From Marcus, he said it about 15 minutes ago. I don't know like numbers as far as like how many million. I can tell you it's the majority under 35, like huge number. Something like 60-70% of men under 35 are now single. Women, it's only about 30%. And I'm rounding the numbers if somebody wants to correct me, but because they're going after the older guys.
So Country says, and I agree with him, they have all these partners, and in the process, their ideal partner becomes a Frankenstein's monster of a person because they don't exist. Yes, it's like why when my husband asks me, what do you want to eat? And I say, I don't know, because I want the fries from this place and the rice from this place and the main course from this other restaurant. And that is what is happening. Women are picking and choosing. Well, I want this guy, but except not these 5 things, but or more like this guy, but not these 8 things. And can we just like build a boyfriend like Brittany?
Oh, wait. Come here. Rudy wants to say hi too. Come here, boy. Rudy Patootie. He's the ham. Huh. Gonna look at the camera? My little Rudy Patootie.
Is he the more gentle one, or
no? He's the nut job. He's crazy. Like he's fearless crazy.
I have a kid like that.
Um,
No fear.
like stupid fearless crazy. Zoe's going to be more laid back. He is until we cut his balls off. Maybe it'll change then, but for now, he's only got one. Country asked if my video is out of tune with my audio. Is it? I don't. It seems fine to
Seems
me.
fine to us.
It's fine with me.
But it's not me. It's you, Country.
More questions, guys. We need more questions.
Well, Steve said my audio's out of sync. It's not. Doesn't seem to be for me. Yeah, bring the questions, comments, what topics you want me to cover, or us to cover, I should say. Did anyone else in school get told that these third world countries couldn't support themselves to the point they didn't wear clothes? Yet there's a very few countries where women are topless. And back in my day, yes, we were told all of Africa was that way.
Did you know in Europe, that in like the Balkans in Europe, they have feed a starving American child commercials?
No, I didn't know that.
I saw a Romanian commercial. It's feed a starving child in Chicago. Yes.
Really?
Is that a scam?
I don't know, but it seemed legitimate.
We got to go find one of them. Producer boy, go find one. Let's see. Now, yeah, I mean, we were basically told, and National Geographic did it too, that Africa was a backwards continent, that, there was no such thing as cities there and all that. It was the stupidest thing ever. Pretty racist when you think about it. But it was the 60s and 70s, I guess. But anyway, good one there. Oh, Grey's Anatomy.
No.
My ex-wife loved Grey's Anatomy.
No. Computer says no.
It was actually a weight loss pill called it. Yeah, there was.
Didn't age well.
That was. Let me tell you, that was a scary, scary time for a lot of us. It were in our early 20s, because we were like, am I going to die and all that? Because they didn't even know how you were getting it at first. It was kind of like, the best way I can equate it is for like think about how COVID was, but times 10, right? Like, we were washing things just like we used to wash our boxes to not get COVID. Remember that? Your delivery from Amazon, make sure you wiped it down before you would. The stupidity of it all. But it was on par with that times 10, and it was scary stuff back then. What's interesting, though, is to see how far they've come with. So I was talking with a buddy of mine probably 5-6 months ago, who had a partner that ended up with AIDS and is doing great. And I'm like, wow, they've come a long way. He's like, they can get it to the point it's not even detectable now. So, quick side notes.
Maggie wants to know if we all had a good Halloween.
I don't do Halloween anymore. And it was my favorite holiday for 40 years.
I ended up on the Des Moines evening news over Halloween.
What did you do?
Do tell.
So, in the city of Roland, we scheduled Halloween for October 31st. And it was on a Friday. Okay. Our football team made it to the playoffs, and they were seeded number 1. So the likelihood of them getting to the second round of the playoffs was pretty doggone good. First round was on October 24th. Second round was on October 31st. It's Iowa. It's fall. We're rednecks. We love us some football. We really love wrestling, but we love us some football. So get this. Some mother that is a resident in my town sent it to KCCI thinking, hey, I'm going to get him into a little bit of trouble. I'm going to get some heat on him. No, it gave me a ton of great PR. I loved it. And in fact, KCCI pumped me up. So guess what? 2 weeks ahead, 17 days ahead of time, I moved Halloween or trick or treating from Halloween to the Thursday before, and we won on the 24th, and we got to play on the 31st. We had trick or treating. We had a nice time. We brought in all these fire trucks, and we brought in work trucks, and contractors brought in their booms, and we had the co-op bring in one of these fertilizer things. That's a John Deere thing, and it was pretty cool.
So you moved it because of football.
It's a religion or a cult, depending on who you ask.
It's a big deal here. It's even bigger in Texas, though.
Religion or a cult, depending on who you ask.
Yeah, Texas is a whole other level from, like, compared to New York, it's not a big deal. North Carolina, it's a big deal. Texas, you can't even measure how big a deal it is. I mean, they have 50,000 seat stadiums for high school football, so that's a good one. Marcus said, why do women only care about status, looks, and money? Go, Lindsay.
Because they're stupid.
Called hypergamy.
It's called hypergamy. We're still stuck in the model of that's what was needed in order to secure a wife and children and protect the family unit back in ye olden times when women had to take care of the household, the domestic duties.
I got to let them out. You keep talking.
And it is important because at the time that it became a thing, it's actually why, historically speaking, more women have married than men, because not every man was capable of supporting a wife and children. Because you had to be able to have access to resources. That isn't really the case so much anymore, because women have this wonderful ability to make our own money. But they're still stuck on that because evolution is slow.
Is it evolution or being taught?
Well,
we're back to that.
I think it's a combination of both, because even in cultures that don't have monetary, like money like we do, the women would still have a system of hypergamy of whichever man is strongest or big enough to provide shelter, to provide food, to provide resources or access to resources. It's not money hypergamy, but it's still a kind of hypergamy. And the men who can't provide don't get mates. We see this in primitive tribes that don't have access to money at all and have never been influenced by Europeans. So I think it is a biological imperative that is augmented by society. That's what I think.
I agree and disagree. I think it's inherent in women to seek to either use hypergamy or monkey branch up at any point. I think it is inherent in them. But I think in this case, it's at present, like in the past, what you're saying, I believe wholeheartedly in. At present, I think it's more nurture than nature. I think women are being told from the day they're born that they're princesses, and anything less than, Prince Charming doing everything he can for her is quote unquote the bare minimum. I think they've taken that to the whole new level.
Well, they took a biological inherent trait and they augmented it to the point of stupidity. And Steve says it pretty. I'm going to sneeze, maybe.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Says Lindsay, face it, it's whichever man can let a woman be laziest. In many cases, that is very true.
I think
wholeheartedly in many cases, that is very true.
I mean, that's why women themselves are saying, if I have to do anything, he's not providing and doing his job as a man. And, it's why now women are at the point where I have to bring something to the table. What? This, and it's like, you see it over and over and over again. And then the other women are like, that's not me. Bullshit, it ain't. You're all the same, right? I mean, I had some woman get pissed at me on YouTube Monday. I'm not like those other women. And then she went into this diatribe in the comments, which
she's exactly like those other women.
I'm like, I have it saved because I'm going to be doing a video on it. But I'm like, she doesn't even realize it. I don't think in her case it's a double standard. I don't think she honestly sees it. It's so ingrained in her to think that way. Again, nature nurture argument, right? And I think it's a little bit of both again, but this time more nurture to me. I honestly believe that she just is incapable of seeing what reality is. And that's scary. I mean, that's why men are walking away because you can't reason with that mindset. You just
Well,
can't.
there's a growing number of women who honest to God do not. So they, what is my favorite saying? Privilege is invisible to those who have it, and to those who have it for too long, equality feels like oppression. Women are so privileged and so entitled that men's labor for them on their behalf has become invisible, to the point where they think it's not happening at all. Well, you're not doing this, you're not doing this. What are you doing for me? And they don't see you have a roof over your head, you have car in your driveway that you don't have to maintain, you don't have to pay for. You, in some cases, you don't even have to fill it up with gas, which baffles me. You have all this stuff made easier for you, and you have the audacity to bitch and moan and say, what are you doing for me? He is making your life extremely comfortable, and you're like the princess and the fucking pea complaining over dried vegetables.
I would love to see today's women have to go back
Oh,
150
so would
years.
I.
It would be freaking hilarious. I'm going to do the laundry. Okay, you better book the next 4 hours to go down by the creek board.
And that's assuming you had access to clean water. You could haul it from a well, and then you might have to
Whatever.
boil it.
Yeah. I mean, they have no concept of what they've been given by men, by the way, because, all of society is built and maintained by men, and I will die on that hill.
Well, okay, the washing machine was patented by a man, invented by a man to make his mother's, I believe, life easier. All of our modern conveniences, the vacuum, the dishwasher, I think most of them were patented and created by men in order to try and make women's lives easier. And for us to sit there and complain that, then our lives are so hard now. Oh, I had to wash the dishes. You had to load the dishwasher and push a button, sis. You didn't have to boil the water. Or fetch the water.
Yeah, I mean, even eating, right? You had to go hunt the animal down or go out in the field and pick it. It wasn't, hey, I'm going to drive by Harris Teeter and pick up dinner tonight, or call DoorDash. Oh, they're summoning me. Call DoorDash for whatever, right? Women have become so privileged, to use your word, that they've lost the concept.
They've lost the plot. They've completely lost the plot.
And I would love to see men, it'll never happen, but it would only take about 10% of us say, you got it, sis, we're taking the next month off. Or it wouldn't last 2 hours, by the way. If men ever did that, they had the balls to do it because they're too chicken shit, all right? This would end overnight. Because the internet would disappear like that, and that's all it would take.
Well, not only that, but
I'm gonna go let them in. I'm listening though.
I've seen women who sit there and say, well, okay, well, if the man wasn't there to like turn my stove or my electricity got turned off, I would just use the fireplace. I was like, okay, sis, do you know how to light a fire? Do you know how to start a fire? Do you know how to do any of that? Because I bet you don't. And then she always comes back with, but do you? And I go, as a matter of fact, yes, because I've read Little House on the Prairie. And my dad made sure that I knew how to start a fire. But they'll say, well, I'll do this, or I'll just do that, or I'll was like, but what if you couldn't? Could you support yourself? Could you create your own shelter? Could you do this? Could you do that? Because I've watched enough episodes of Naked and Afraid to know that women can't.
I would love to see a woman gut a deer. I'd pay money to. Now, is there women that can do it? Absolutely. Are they capable of doing it? 100% they are. Will they do it? Not a chance in hell. I mean, there are some, obviously, but if society broke down and you had to feed yourself, It would be awesome to
I have
watch.
2 deer tags this year. Who's coming? Let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you seen the videos where it has the freezers in like Home Depot and it's got a picture of Rudolph times 2 or Rudolph times 4?
Yeah, it would be. I would love to see it happen where men just said, "Okay, you got it for the next week. We're just going to take the week off." And watch the internet go down, which would happen in about 2 hours, by the way, right? Because power would start failing too. And then when the women realize they can't make their TikTok and Instagram videos
Oh, you mean
anymore,
I have to do work?
they wouldn't know what to do. They would not know what to do. Because now, how are you going to look? Now, let's say it is a week and there's no food available because the trucks wouldn't be running. Now you got to go catch a deer. Well, you don't know how to. Oh, just Google it. Oh, wait, no, I can't.
You have to actually go
I would
find
be
a
thrilled.
library and look up how to find food.
And there'd be a whole lot of men, by the way, that would have the same problem, just to make that point.
Too many.
Way too many. Because somebody asked earlier, should is it hunting and fishing be taught in
Yes.
school? Way back. 100%. Basic survival is the way I would put it. Like starting a fire, like Lindsay mentioned. I know how to start a fire. Do you guys watch Survivor?
Yes.
These people are idiots. You know you're going on that show. You know you're going to have to start fires.
Yep.
How do you not know how to start one? Morons. Morons. I would have no problem starting a fire. I don't need a flint. A flint's nice. Don't get me wrong. Makes it a hell of a lot easier. But I could start a fire if I had to. It's not easy. I'm not trying. You got to know what you're doing, and it's a lot of work. But they can't even. We were watching because my wife loves the show. I'm over it, but she loves it. Like last week, we lost our flint, so we have no fire. Do you not know how to bury coals in the appropriate way so that they'll still maintain? I mean,
no.
Dumbasses.
So someone said that
or use ash as the insulator.
Yeah.
Wait.
But they're too stupid to know, and it's all young kids too. By the way, I'm just going to point.
Someone said it used to be home economics. It didn't actually used to be home economics. It used to just be like scouting or
life skills.
Life skills. That your parents were supposed to teach you. But I know for a fact that it wasn't home economics because my grandmother taught it for 40 years.
Well, I do think home ec should be brought back
and
too.
civics.
Civics, shop.
And what I like about home ec is you actually do a checkbook register.
Well, in
I mean, really,
in economics,
it blows your mind. But here's the funny part: how do you you don't miss a written entry? You're sitting there going, and you. What if you miss sliding on your phone on the register, right?
Rudy is like biting my toe right now, and it
His
hurts.
little needle teeth.
He's just getting them because he was the runt. He's behind by about a month. Steve said, about the fire starting. One of the guys wearing glasses. Yeah, I mean, you're in Fiji. The sun is beaten down. You wear glasses. Duh. This is not rocket science. I mean, come on. Yet every season they have no idea how to start a fire. It just blows my mind. Men and women, by the way. They don't know how to build a shelter either. I mean, duh. And they're all, by the way, because it used to be you had to create your own. Now they're given the materials. The same bamboo is reused every season. How to build a shelter. I mean, this has nothing to do with men versus women. It's just the stupidity that younger generations can't do this stuff. Sorry, kids, but
we have a whole bunch of books about how to do basic survival skills, and the books are all older than I am. I inherited them from my grandparents.
Most of it's not rocket science.
No, it's not. And
some of it is, but
I mean, I know how to use ash, charcoal, and sand and river walks to filter water.
Yeah. Well,
that's assuming I have no access or way to boil it.
Just out of curiosity, because this could be fun with the audience. What would you do if you had no water? Do you have a filtration system right now if you had to have water? I do. I have multiple ways. I have filtration bottles. I have
I have
gallon
a
cans.
cistern.
I have.
I've got wicks.
I've got tons of them. I've got the standard military pills.
Iodine.
Oh, the iodine tablets.
Iodine.
Yeah.
It won't taste good, but it won't kill you.
But it won't kill you.
Unless
I
you're
sit
allergic
here-
to iodine.
You know, people around us, oh, I'll just go buy bottled water. Okay. Good
Okay.
luck with that in the long run. If the power's out for 2 days, you're good. What happens if it's out a month? You know, where I am about 8, 9 years ago, a hurricane hit and we were cut off for about 3 weeks. I mean, the Marines were going to be landing on our beaches to bring supplies. That's how bad it was.
When we were in Oklahoma, there was a really, really bad blizzard, and the power and the gas went out for about 5 days. But it had snowed recently, so we had a fireplace, and I cooked in my fireplace, and I used the snow for water because the water was off.
Yeah.
And we were the only. Everyone else was that when would go into the base, everyone would go into base and say, "Oh, we're starved." The base had power because they had their own generators. But they're like, "Oh, you know, we're all so cold and we were hungry and we don't know what to eat." And Eric was bragging about the
I would
fact
just die laughing.
I pulled out my Dutch oven and we ate very well. Although we joked about which dog we were going to eat first.
I mean, my ex-father-in-law lived in upstate New York, and probably 20 years or so ago now. They had an ice storm, which cut him off completely for almost 2 months. So many trees fell. There was no power, nothing. We couldn't get to him. He couldn't get to us. We couldn't even talk to him. This was pre-cell phone, right? And he survived like it was nothing. And this was in the dead of winter. And I talked to him afterward. He goes, this wasn't that hard. Like you said, Lindsay, right? I brought snow in. He had a wood furnace, wood stove. He had water all the time. Never had a problem. He had ways to get food, and he had some stored. But yet now, my kids would suffer, and I've taught them some stuff. But it's scary how bad it is with the way people are. And the way the government is now and the way people are acting, we ain't that far away from possibly losing everything.
I just want to thank Houston for keeping me thoroughly entertained.
They did. I like the instant water one.
Mm-hmm. There's some other things we can't say.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm trying to
Well, I mean,
He's just on a roll.
well, we something about instant water. So this is a Lindsayism. I think I got this from my dad. So this is technically a Dykeism. And it's add water, instant idiot, because here in the Texas Hill Country, it doesn't rain a whole lot. And when it does rain, everyone forgets how to drive. So it's add water, instant idiot.
I'm not touching it this time.
Because everyone
that's
starts.
That's just like in the South when it snows.
Well, yeah, the Texas snowstorm, the snowvid. Everyone called it snowpocalypse, but it was right in the middle of COVID. I think we should have called it snowvid, and I am still pissed that Ted Cruz wouldn't call it that. I feel like an opportunity was missed.
I remember in 1995, I was working out of Norfolk, Virginia for 3 months for the company I was working with. Now, I'm from Albany, New York. We got a half an inch of snow. All of Bob Beach, Norfolk is shut down. People are on the highway, the main route between the two cities, white-knuckled, crawling at like 3 miles an hour. And I'm talking people in four-wheel drive vehicles and all this stuff.
You and I would be like, this is easy.
And here I am in my Chevy Metro, by the way, doing 95 down the far left lane because it's a half inch of snow. And I remember that to this day. And now where I live now, like we got not even a half inch last winter, and they shut the city down for 3 days.
Yes, country, I know what snow is.
Angel Warrior, the answer is we in Iowa, it's part of our physical education program.
I was
archery is?
taught
Yeah.
archery in school, in middle school.
Yeah.
I want to get a bow again. I was really good. Wow. I'm sure I'm not now, but I used to be really good with a bow. Way better than I am with a rifle or a pistol. But that was.
I was
60
taught
years
how
ago.
to hunt with a crossbow because my mom wouldn't let my dad teach me to use a gun.
When I learned, there weren't all the the way the bows are now, where it's easy to draw. Mine was on a regular bow, like a longbow type.
Well, yeah, that's what we were taught in middle school. Is we did archery as a unit. That was fun to watch all the weepy little girls. It's like obviously you've never pulled off a lawnmower.
It would be interesting to see if the shit hit the fan, as they say, what would happen. You would see the cities fall apart in 2 days. I mean, it would be unbelievably bad. In a city where I am, we're surrounded by water on 3 sides, and there's one highway in and out. So we've been cut off before. I would manage just fine, but it would be very interesting to see. So, all right, we only got a couple minutes left. Any final questions, thoughts? Throw them in the comments. Again, I'll just throw out my own simple. Don't forget, I have a second YouTube channel, Men Need to Be Heard 2, TOO. Here, I'll put it in the things. Go follow that.
We have trap shooting also here.
There, I just put it in. We don't do trap anymore. I sucked at trap.
Yeah, we still do it. In fact,
I was awful at it.
Dylan, I think I remember Dylan having a special shotgun just for trap shooting.
Well, we had a double barrel for that. 12 gauge.
Yep.
I remember my father taking me and getting very frustrated because I sucked. I don't know why either. Target shooting, I was good. I can drop a deer, but skeet.
Here we do waterfowl and pheasants. So
here we would do seagulls and
how to shoot a rattlesnake 101.
Yeah, so
rattlesnake is good eating, by the way.
It is.
It is.
Dad would create the alpha tribe and all would flock to him. No, I wouldn't. It'd be me, myself, and I and my wife. The rest of you can go screw yourselves. And I got enough ammo park to keep you away. So I don't need to take care of anybody.
We can go screw ourselves.
Oh, Lindsay. You're supposed to be my daughter. I don't need to see these things.
It is volcanic sand from Hawaii.
Too?
No. It's got a cork in it.
Yeah, I'm sure something.
So you can put a cork in it.
Hey, yes. Yes. We got to close the show now. We got to close the show now. It's over.
All right.
Final. Could women survive without men? No.
No.
0 chance. Could men survive without women?
Yes.
Absolutely, they could. 100%. Would there be some men that couldn't? Absolutely. And we would turn them into targets. But that's...
You would eat them like a soccer team.
No.
In the Andes.
Yeah, we are not a soccer team.
Donner party.
But we could use them for bait to catch fish.
Yes, you could.
I'm a half mile from the coast. I hate fishing with a passion, but I can do it. But yeah. All right, guys, we only got about a minute left. Like I said, go follow me. I may need to be here too. I want to get my subscriber count up so I can do more things with that. Don't forget to follow us on Boy Meets Squirrel. Also, although I think pretty much everyone that's on right now is following us. And if you're not, I'm going to hunt you down and turn you into shark bait. Half mile that way, I can put you in the ocean. Lindsay has gone rogue. All right. I'll shut up. Go ahead,
Bye,
Lindsay.
guys. We'll see you next week.
go.